Anthony Joshua recently defeated. Oleksandr Usyk's fighting for his country in Ukraine at the moment, so hasn't got the opportunity hasn't got the availability to concentrate on boxing. There are much bigger things going on in his world after the invasion of Russia. So what now for Anthony Joshua, and what does that mean for him? Does he take an interim fight? Should an interim fight be taken, how much of a danger could that pose for him?
Well, I think he has to take an interim fight because you've got to stay active. That's the most important thing. You know, you've got people like Joe Joyce, Otto Wallin, Deontay Wilder, but they're all dangerous fights for him, if I'm totally honest. I think at that level, everyone's a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua at the moment.
Luis Ortiz as well, can't we?
Yeah,
we can dig him up. He's 173. Get him in there as well.
Absolutely. You know, but yeah, I think the big question is with this Oleksandr Usyk thing, and we all understand, you know, the politics of it all, and we all understand he's out there fighting for his country, etc., etc. But what is going to happen with those titles? You know, is he going to relinquish them? Should he relinquish them?
That's a difficult
Should he hold on
conversation,
to them?
isn't it?
I don't think the bodies are ever going to turn
No,
around
they never
Usyk
would.
and say we're going to take these belts off you.
No, I'm
because
talking
you're
about
over.
him doing it. Yeah.
I don't know what you
To
think.
allow to free the heavyweight thing up. I don't listen. The bodies will not take those belts off him
I was going
because
to
of
say,
what he's doing.
you wouldn't want to have those conversations, would you? As
And you're not going to be able to have them
any.
anytime soon.
No,
so
agreed.
I actually think, and it's a terrible expression, and I shouldn't use it, which is dodging a bullet, but I think he has in Usyk, because I don't think Joshua is going to fight Usyk anytime soon now.
No, I
which
agree.
now means, right, that potentially all roads could lead to Joshua fighting Fury. If Fury dismantles Dillian Whyte, which I expect him to do, then what stops Joshua from fighting Fury next? Because if Alexander Usyk's in the long grass for the next 6 months, that fight could be made, couldn't it? Fury Joshua could be made, and he's dodged Usyk. He's done what he wanted to do in the first place, besides the fact that everyone says no one said he did. Right? Everybody knows.
No standard side money.
No, everybody knows. Excuse me. But the danger of fighting Usyk could have been the total demise of Anthony Joshua's career, because if he'd lost again, where then did he go?
Sure.
So now, potentially, he doesn't have to fight Usyk.
Well, what you said, what's stopping the all roads leading to Fury? Well, what could be stopping it is that interim fight. Because if he does take on someone like Wilder, Joyce, Ortiz, Wallin, it's not an easy road. It's not a road that is a smooth path to that fight.
No, but if Fury comes through this fight with Dillian Whyte, I know he talks about retirement and everything else, that won't happen. If he comes through that and these conversations are happening, Joshua takes an interim fight, but a lower level,
they're not going to
something
put him
just to
in a
warm up. They're not going to put him in a fight where he's going to get beat, because obviously all roads lead to Fury Joshua, which
They've
is
got to put him in
the
a
fight that
credible
everyone's
fight.
wanted to see.
And I mean,
Yeah.
Luis Ortiz is a
can't
credible
just give him a
fighter,
patsy,
but he's 173.
Yeah.
So if you put
Otto
him,
Wallin's a good one.
Otto Wallin's a decent one.
Southpaw?
Joe Joyce,
Yeah.
I don't think is a fight that needs to be made for Joe Joyce at this moment in time, besides getting paid. I'd like to see him fight Wilder. I'd like to see him put his money where his mouth is, because I think
Would he do that?
But I think Wilder's done anyway. But notwithstanding that, I still would like to see him in with Wilder, because we've seen Fury diminish Wilder. We've seen him do it in 3 fights. If you think you can beat Fury, then you can do damage to Wilder.
He wants the Wilder fight, by
Does
the way.
he?
Joshua wants to. That's the fight that he's asked for.
Does Eddie Hearn want that fight because he knows that it could be full of problems, and that might then allow him to get the
Do you think
big
Wilder's done?
Fury
I
Joshua?
think it could be
Headline act.
genius thing, because look, you know, the punishment that he took in those last couple of fights were bad, and especially the last fight, Wilder. And I think that the timing might be right. You know, Joshua goes in, does Wilder, sets up a great fight with Fury. I think Joshua does Wilder
This
right
is a
now.
key fight. This is a key moment in Anthony Joshua's career, isn't it? After what happened against Usyk.
Oh, this is a massive moment in
Watershed
his career.
moment.
Massive moment in his career. Like, Joshua's at the stage now where, you know, losses you
One
can't
more
consider.
defeat.
You can't
But
you
is
can't
it-
consider another defeat.
But is it? I mean, okay, let's say that they match him against Otto Wallin, or they match him against Ortiz, or one of those fighters in that sort of bracket. Right?
Well, Wallin would spoil it a little bit. He
Yeah,
would
but
make him.
I think he'd beat him.
Yeah,
right?
he beat Wallin.
So,
yeah,
so the
definitely.
massive moment really has been avoided potentially, because the massive moment was being forced by his own machismo to get back in the ring
With Usyk.
with Usyk. And unless Usyk wasn't going to fight the way he fought the first fight, then there was not going to be really much of a chance, I think, for Anthony Joshua to overcome him, because he's a better fighter than Anthony Joshua. Now, of course, Anthony Joshua does something different. Maybe there's a different outcome, but I think Usyk can deal with him now. So that
fight up to me is a million miles away now. It's not even. It's not
So I
even
think
a
he's been
talking
saved by the
point.
belt.
So
I think he's been saved by a circumstance, and a tragic circumstance, that Usyk has to go out to a country that's been war torn right now.
we may get the fight by default. Fury Joshua by default.
That's my point. You know, if you want to get the hand of Machiavellian influence that Eddie Hearn can have at times, this couldn't have played out better to some extent, because his cash cow his little generator was perhaps going to stop in its tracks, and now he doesn't have that problem.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be happy about the idea that there is a possibility that big fight, that huge fight, that mega fight is still on the agenda. What did look at one point that it was going to go away and it was never going to happen, didn't it? But there's still a possibility it's on the agenda.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.